Greetings and namaskar. My name is Partha Banerjee. I grew up in Calcutta in West Bengal, but for almost 3 decades I've been living in America in New York. I came to America a long time ago uh, when I was a foreign student in Illinois State University, and I did my master's in biology from there. And then I went to Southern Illinois University to do a PhD in biology. And then I worked as a biologist, both as a research scholar and a professor at various places. And then I actually quit everything and went back to school when I was 40 years old. And then I did a journalism master's degree from Columbia University, which is a very well-known university, as you know. Since then, I worked as a journalist for some time on TV as a TV journalist, but then I started working as a human rights activist, especially after the tragedies and terrorist attack on 9/11. And then I started working against the hate crimes that were happening against the poor immigrants in New York and across the country. So that was really a turning point of my life. And since that point, I have worked first as an immigrant rights activist and then later as a labor educator. Right now, I work for the past 6 or 7 years. I've been working as a labor educator for one of the largest labor unions in New York City. I put together classes on economics and diversity and immigration and media and subjects like that. And then I also carry out a 8-month long critical thinking labor workshop for our labor union. I'm very happy about it. The reason I mentioned about these things to you is to let you know that number one, first I came from a very humble background in Calcutta. My father worked for a factory, a sewing machine factory, Usha, which was later demolished, as you know, and now there is a big shopping mall in South Calcutta on Anwar Shah Road. So I've seen how poor people struggle and they fight to make ends meet. And here also in America, I have seen the same thing, although many of you perhaps do not know that side of America or that side of New York, where hundreds of thousands of poor people, they are fighting only to make ends meet, and they are very, very, very poor. And their human rights are violated on a daily basis. Based on these experiences, I am telling you now that you should really think about what is going to happen in these elections that are coming up in India. The discussions that are happening on mainstream media about the elections are, to me, quite superficial, and in many cases, with some exceptions, they are actually excluding some of the most important subjects that should be discussed, must be discussed. And these are subjects such as the global economy. These are subjects such as the rich-poor disparity that is escalating in India. Subjects such as the overpopulation, subjects such as the extreme violence that is taking place against women in India all over the country, environmental pollution, illiteracy, human rights violation, all these healthcare crises, extreme prices of daily commodities. When I left India, the US dollar was, $1 was only 11 Indian rupees. Now it is over 60. So we are not being told about some of these most important issues, some of the most important topics that should be an important part of this election. And I'm telling you that, as you know, so many film star candidates and so many cricket players and so many famous people, very rich people, celebrities, they are participating in these elections as candidates. And in the Lok Sabha election, each of these candidates is going to represent almost 10 lakh people each, 1 million people each, which is really incredible that they are aspiring to be leaders and representatives of so many people. A large majority of them are extremely poor. Do these people, do these candidates have any experience, any knowledge, any analysis of these people's problems, these poor people's problems? Do they really know how they live, how they make ends meet? Do they really know the crisis that companies such as Monsanto created in India? Do they have any sympathy about the victims of the Union Carbide disaster that took place in Bhopal in 1984? Can they solve the communal tension situation? If there is, God forbid, a terrorist attack in India, and we have seen a number of them, do they have the knowledge and do they have the expertise to address those issues? So I'm just telling you that I have nothing against any candidate. I live far away, 10,000, 12,000 miles away from India, but I'm very much an Indian at heart. I'm a very much a Bengali at heart. I deeply care about my country. I deeply care about my culture, and I deeply care about my people. I am one of you, and I'm asking you sincerely to look at these candidates regardless of their political parties. I am not talking on behalf of any political parties. I'm not talking against any political parties. I'm only telling you that please elect candidates that would represent what we call the 99%, the ordinary working people, men, women, and families, and not represent the uppermost 1%. If we can do that, if we can send the most honest, hardworking, efficient, experienced, and compassionate candidates as leaders of our communities, our constituencies, then maybe in the future we can think about changing India at the grassroots level, and we can bring back true democracy and pro 99% pro people economy full of communal harmony, peace, and progress. Please think about it. Thank you very much for your time. Namaskar.